All right, guys, I've got Bradley back on the line, and we're going to carry on where we left off. We're not going to go back to the first introduction or his background story. If you missed the background story and you're watching this, there is a part 1 to this video, and if you cannot find it, just get in touch with me, and I'll point you in the right direction. If I can edit the links and everything, I'll just put a link on the comments box, or however it works with Google Hangouts. So, Bradley, we got you back, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
Brilliant. Okay, so where we left off in the first part was we were just discussing the whole issue of mindset and how when shit happens, basically, how you use your mindset to turn it into a positive rather than a negative. And we discussed the whole concept of how athletes have a different type of mindset, if you like, to regular people. And we're going to just discuss that in a little bit of detail, especially from the whole point of view of how it helps as a male entrepreneur, as a male professional, somebody who wants to aspire for great things, to really sort of focus on training their bodies as well. Because a lot of the times when people are chasing the money or whatever it is they're chasing, one of the first things to go out the window is the fitness, the discipline to eat the right kind of foods and everything. So we're just going to just touch on that in a minute. Is that cool, Bradley?
Yeah.
Should we talk about that? So what are your thoughts on the whole idea of the body and the mind connection then, and how did you use that in your story, and how to turning around the whole issue of you being told you're never going to walk again?
Yeah, so this is it. I don't know how much of the last part did the mini story. So I learned a valuable lesson just before I got ill. And, as I say, I moved to London to be a personal trainer. I was very, had the look to be a personal trainer, had the knowledge. I was well liked, everything like that. And then you move to London, you just expect something to happen. And as I say, if you're not in control of your life and where you're going, you're just expecting an opportunity to come along, expecting change. And these days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months. And as I say, it wasn't until I fell out with my friends and really got a real wake-up call just about 2-3 months before the operation. So I actually learned a very valuable lesson during this. And when I applied this to my business, just before I got ill, I was very successful, very fast within the space of 2 months. Going from pretty much having no business or the odds, session to get enough to get by, to being pretty much fully booked. And so when I got ill and you wake up and you're told you can never move again, you can't do this. I mean, I had the right skill set. I knew I had to really control it. So this comes back to anything in life with your goals, and you need to know exactly where you're going. So for me, I woke up paralyzed. I literally couldn't move from the neck down. I was in braces, no feeling. You try and move your toes, your hands, they don't move. But I knew neurologically after they explained what had happened, because I had a personal trainer background, that the mind-muscle connection is important. It's important to establish it straight away. The nerves, you've only got a certain space of time before the connections come back. So I sat there and just constantly told my brain to move my hand. Nothing happened. And this is where persistence is key. It's like, as trainers and coaches tell people consistency, persistence. And constantly every day telling the brain to move the hands and having no result for hours upon end is exhausting. And I'm not talking about like 20 minutes. I'm talking about doing this all day in between, nurses constantly doing this. I was still in intensive care. But I knew I had to have this conscious feeling of moving, because I knew if there was any hope of me having the life I wanted again, I was going to have to try everything, and not just try something, try everything. And I constantly did this, and eventually, maybe when the swelling went down, or I started getting movement in his right hand, there was nothing in the left. Sorry, there was nothing in the right, and eventually it slowly comes back. And as you say, when nothing happens for days, I think it was good days before I didn't even move. Then slight movements in the fingers, again nothing in the right hand side, and it's that consistency, consistent persistence. So it's like anything in life and business. You do the work with no results, with no payoff, with no appreciation. You get nothing, and you've got to expect nothing back. And you do the work today, what you benefit from in a week. So as I say, it's that huge. You've got to have everything in check. And, this comes back to when you're in business, you neglect your. I was massively I did this massive last year. I was growing my business, very successful, and I got quite far out of shape. So then I went back to getting back in shape, focused on that, and then I neglected parts of my business. So again, it's having a constant check, and unless you put all this into kind of check sheets and have a goal mapped out and everything mapped out, you neglect parts of your life. And this is where I think certainly yourself and I teach. You've got to have focus on everything. Why can't you have it all? All you've got to do is have a plan for each little section, and that's what people lack for some reason.
Yeah, that is definitely true, especially the whole concept of having it all. Like, well, let's talk about that for a minute, because I'm big on this whole concept of having it all. You said that it was just so precise. You've got to have the plan in place. You've got to have the tick sheets and the checklist in place, so you're putting the daily consistent action in. The problem is that most people, in my opinion, they overcomplicate it. They think that success is to be really complicated. What do you think? What do you say to somebody that wants to sort of like have it all and they're just juggling so many things? What advice would you give to them?
Well, this comes back to, what do you want? Because we hear this, I call it bullshit all the time. You can have whatever you want in life, right? But the more you actually go into this, it's so true. And you can break this down on a really small scale or go massive with it. So some people's having it all, whether it's health, fitness, money, the women, the cars, why not? But what you've got to do is break it down into small. This is people's huge mistake. They go, right, I want a successful business, and that's it, right? And successful business means nothing to anyone. What you've got to do is, say, I want this personal training business to develop into this, delivering this amount of sessions from my own location. And you've got to really break it down into mini goals, because when you're too vague with the goal, it just doesn't happen. And as I say, when I came out of hospital, I was very much under this impression of, right, what it is, I died twice on the operating table. I flat out broke off living in London, for 2 years unsuccessfully. Now I've got a been through hospital. I've spent, every bit of savings I had when I literally had nothing. I got the money from being in hospital, like £70 a week. That's all I had when I came out. I had literally nothing, and I'm not from a wealthy family, so I had nothing. And I was like, right, this. How do I want it all now? I want, this is a wake up to me. So what do I want? And I was very aggressive with my goals, and I just chose to do everything I want. And yeah, the first year, 2 years, I made crazy mistakes, but it gave me the focus to take whatever I wanted. I wanted to feel like I could date, these trophy girls again. And I did that. Big mistake, because it always goes the wrong way, but that's what I wanted. I wanted, the successful business, working 40 hours a week in PT. And, within 8 months, I was doing about 37 hours a week PT, from starting with £600 I borrowed off my sister to pay my gym rent. So I did it from nothing. And it comes back to, if you want it, you really can. And it's about getting a strategy and setting the small goals to develop into bigger goals. And that's where, luckily, I have too vague a goal, and it becomes overwhelmed. I want to do this, I want to do that. And people just go week to week, and it turns into a year, nothing.
So you mentioned the whole concept of having specificity in your goal. And when you have a goal, as trainers, we discuss this whole concept of having a SMART goal, and I'm sure you do this with your clients as well, where you have a specific goal that's measurable, it's agreeable, it's realistic, and it's time bound. And so many people, I think, haven't got that whole concept of how to set a goal properly in order to have the right focus put into that goal. And again, they overcomplicated it. They make things way too complicated than it should be, because if you want to balance everything, in my opinion, you need to have like a simple step for each one. And I think you touched on that brilliantly there.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. You obviously were in a position where you started seeing some success, and then you had the whole issue with the blood infection, the doctor's telling you that you died twice in the operating table, that you're never going to walk again. And you've obviously turned that around, and you've told us about the mindset that you had and how you focused on really sort of reconnecting and retraining the brain and the whole neural pathways to help you move again. And that is amazing. What advice would you give to somebody? I mean, obviously, people listening and watching this might not go through the same amount of pain that you've obviously been through, but they're obviously going through some sort of pain that's stopping them from moving forward. That's affecting them from taking the next level in their life, if you like. What advice would you give them to give them some encouragement that they can achieve their goals?
Yeah, so this whole thing, everything comes back to triggers, right? And just before I moved to London, I was seeing a girl, you know, she was actually from Northern Ireland. We were together in Newcastle. You know, beautiful girl. I loved her to pieces. We got on really well. I could have married her. She came from quite a wealthy family. So we're in Portugal one day, one holiday home in Portugal. And this is the point where the business went right downhill. And, you know, I pretty much was really struggling. I knew I had to make some sort of decision, but I was delaying this because I didn't really know what I had to do. And we sat in Portugal, and she got quite drunk, and she was like, "Here, look, I love you to pieces, but I can't be with someone that, you know, can't give me the lifestyle, you know, I'm used to." And I thought that's a bit of a bitchy thing to say, but it was actually, it's true. And as I say, this comes back to why can't we have it all? If she wants that, she deserves to have that. And this really resonated with me, and I'll never forget the moment, exactly where it was, everything like that. It's because I thought, you know what it is? Sometimes you just got to take control of your life and grab that steering wheel and actually fucking go somewhere and not drift through. And what I'm talking about is triggers. You know, so obviously no one's going to probably gone through the same thing as me, but people are going to have gone through, you know, being finished in a relationship, not feeling like you really wanted, feeling a failure to, you know, your family and friends. You know, your business has grown, but you're just stuck with it. People have these triggers where they just, something's got to go. And if you're at that trigger point now where you've just got to press the button, you've got to just really embrace that and don't hide it and don't push it off and don't, you know, what we do as men is just suppress that a little bit and let it go away. Then we get a little payment in for business or something, and then it eases it off and it goes away for 4 weeks. You've got to use them triggers and really, you know, use that pain that you go through. So as I say, if you're going through any of them triggers, you've got to really press it and do something. I always say to people, do something extreme. Don't do something stupid. Just do something to break the state you're in. And I'm massive on the state change, and you've really got to just change your state. You know, if we're talking about, you know, getting fit. Get up at 3 a.m., right? Do something extreme. 3 a.m., go for a run. Or get up at 5 a.m., go for a run. When you're coming home and people are starting to get up from work, even if you struggle like hell, you feel better. And I'm not saying it's going to change you for good, but it'll start making small changes. It will wake you up a little bit. You've got to change your state. And if this is business, it's like when I was struggling as a people, you know, it took me 4 weeks to design these flyers, 2 weeks to get them printed. They arrived. And, you know, I was so just stuck in fear of going to put them in coffee shops around London because I was embarrassed. And it came down to I had pretty much no money, but I had these flyers, what could have brought me thousands of pounds of the business. But I was so scared and fearful of going because I felt embarrassed because I thought I was better than that, but you're not. So this whole fear comes back to you're scared of doing something. You know, everyone kind of knows, you know, anyone who's watching us and you're developing yourself, you kind of know what you've got to do. Some people go and pay thousands to a mentor that does the trick. Everyone kind of knows what they should be doing to move forward. And the thing is with fear, right, is if it's going to the gym or if it's starting a diet or if it's going to put you speak to someone about a business venture or a joint opportunity or handing out flyers, once you actually do it, you know, once you give out that first one, you know, the first flyer or go and put in the pocket, it just, the fear just goes away and you're like, you know what, this is so easy. It's like making a sales call. You make the sales call, you get your, you know, you don't sell 5, then you make your first sale and you're like, you know, I've actually, my business helps this guy move forward. He wants my help. And you know, all this fear is just gone. And it's crazy when you just do something, the fear and the anxiety, everything just goes away. And so, as I say, my advice to people is just to take what you know you kind of should be doing and just try it. If it takes something extreme to do it, just do it, and you'll feel such a sense of relief when you do this. And then that step, everything steps that leads to another. Then you think, well, if I can do that, I can do that, and suddenly, slowly, you're on a roll. Then you fly in. And that's what this is all about. One small step at a time. It's not about if you haven't exercised for 5 years, going into a bodybuilding competition on a competition diet prep. It's not about that. It's about small steps, what's beneficial to you, not what's beneficial to what I can do or you can do. To personal. So if that's walking 20 minutes, it's walking 20 minutes. If it's cutting out one shitty meal a day, it's cutting out one. Don't compare yourself to others where you have to go through a strict as hell diet. Because, half the people out here, everything's false on the internet. So, do what is beneficial to you, health, business, life.
Man, this is gold. This is pure gold. And I can relate to that, especially the whole fear thing, because I operated from this whole fear base. Basically, I wanted to do things, and I knew what I needed to do, but I never did them because I was too afraid to do them. And it's like you said earlier on, it's being stuck in that comfort zone. And for me personally, if I could give any advice to anybody watching this, it's to change, it's to look at your relationship with fear and to examine that relationship you have with fear. Because, I mean, I'll tell you what, Bradley probably still feels scared about stuff. I still feel scared about stuff. And I certainly, as how I know that some of the most successful people out there still feel scared of stuff. Yet they do it anyway because they've got a different relationship to fear, because they know that they have to overcome the fear to get to the next level. I'm going to ask you a quick question, Bradley.
Yeah.
You mentioned state change there. Are you a fan of Tony Robbins?
I am. I like Tony. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's ask a question then. What influences in your life, and if you have had any mentors, if you had any people in your life that really made a difference, and how has that changed? How has that changed your thinking and the results you get in your life?
I mean, this mentor thing, it works in a way. The problem is there's bad mentors and good mentors, like good people and bad people. So what the mentorship thing does is create that trigger for you. As I say, there's personal triggers, there's financial, but if you pay someone a lot of money, you're gonna do that's how it works, right? It's like what you've got to do, you just got to do it. It's like anyone can go and read a Men's Health, £4, get a decent diet plan, decent workout to a certain extent anyway. But what makes them do that? If I went and paid £300 for that same Men's Health, I'm going to do the workout, right? So again, it comes down and stuff like that. But the thing is with state, and it comes to fear and state, and your mind can only hold one thought, right? So it's either positive or negative, and it does come back to fear. We're all scared, and even me with experience of being able to speak to people, new clients, anything in life, doesn't matter how long you do something, you always hold that little bit of fear, and it's until you really learn to deal with that, your life changes. And as I say, I still get nervous, going on a date with a girl. I've dated, celebrities, glamour models, Playboy models, every sort of girl that should intimidate a man, and being comfortable. And then I go on a date with, any sort of girl, you still get nervous, right? It's same with business. And it's, as I say, this fear thing, it's just false. It's in your mind, and you've just got to approach it the best way you can. And once we change this state of mind, it's just changes, and you've just got to be confident in your own decision. I've started this new business recently, and I'm involved with JP Morgan investment bankers, and they live finance. It's like me talking about calories and nutrition. I know it to the T, and they're talking. When you go into a different world, talking about business plans and the visitor of the business and cost of goods sold, and it's their language. And at first, I was really scared of it all. Then I thought, you know what? I've just got to break it down a little bit, work out what it is. And suddenly, within 2 hours, I can talk their language. And these are, the most successful corporate, finance bankers in the world. And you just got to get over the fact that something's scary and deal with it. And as I say, this state things comes back to trading, walking into a date, walking into a bar, walking into a business meeting. And as I say, I don't know if it's Tony Robbins, I can't remember who it is. It says you just change your state, and I first learned this when we used to play rugby. We used to go into this, especially in the weights room. Our coach used to say, go to an angry place just before you set. So you're lying under the bench press, 120 kgs on. You go into a state, you imagine the movement, and you go through it. They say it doesn't matter how stressful your life is outside. Your relationship's bad. Your wife's just told you she's going to leave you, and you're about to go into the most important business decision, business meeting of your life. All you have to do is change your state of mind, and you're a completely different person. So again, state change is so big, and just work on the state, whether it's in the gym, going to a place or visualizing your body and just changing, and you'll get so many more reps out. If it's business going into an important meeting, just see yourself as this confident businessman, believe in your product. Because the problem is people get dragged into this fear and negative shit. I actually didn't sell the last 5 sales, and this is actually gonna, and it does affect you. There's one thing in this world we all need, and it's confidence. And the problem is we get battered down so much. This confidence is hard to shine, but it only takes that state change of the one sale and you're back right on top. If anyone sells anything, when you sell a product, you're right back up on high. Like, I can do this, I can change the world, I can do that. And it comes down to you just have to implement that state before you go into any sort of meeting or anything like that.
Man, that's so true. And actually, you had me at Playboy models and glamour models. Actually, I think we'll save that discussion for a future.
Yeah.
Maybe we can discuss that. But no, the state change thing, that is really good advice. And I mean, there are times when you have to just show up. Like whatever's happened in your life on that day, you could have had a car crash. Your dog could have died. Like you said, your wife could have said she's leaving you, and you've got an important business meeting, and you've got to show up for that meeting. And there's so many people flake out. So many people will say, "Oh, I just don't feel like doing it today," and all this kind of crap, and they make the excuse. But successful people, one thing I've learned about successful people is they literally do what they say they are going to do. Full stop. No excuses.
Yeah.
And one of the best examples I can give right now is my mentor, Satema Gali Jr., ex-NFL Hall of Famer. He recently, his dad was really ill. Like literally was told he wasn't gonna live for much longer. Now he's fine now. His dad's doing well. And at the same time that Satema was posting this, and a friend of mine was posting that her dad was doing really badly. And bless her, my friend, she's just a normal person, just an average person, and just to see the difference in the attitude and the mindset, she would completely shut off and really sort of like not want to know about the outside world. Whereas Satema would say, my dad's doing okay. We're going to go visit him in hospital. I got meetings now, and he was on his post. He was doing his mentoring thing. There was no excuses. There was no backing down, and it was just amazing to see that. So let me ask you a quick question before we wrap up. You mentioned that this new venture you're going into with the JP Morgan Bank and everything. Is this the restaurant? Tell us more about the new venture and what you're up to, because I think it's going to be exciting for a lot of people to hear, especially about you told me about the restaurant you're opening in London. Is this to do with that?
I mean, again, this is a huge lesson in life, what I've been through in the last 2 years. So I originally wanted, a business where I can, run my personal trainings. Me running it, it's not expandable. It's not, especially in central London, you need a lot of money to do it. So I started the idea and I started speaking to people. And this is the crazy thing, especially when you never know who you're speaking to. You never know who you're speaking to, and you never know what they're looking for, right? So this was about 18 months ago. I wanted to open my gym in London. I was focused. I was like, I want it, you know, like we said, I want my own gym. And I was focused, and I started speaking to people, and I'd asked a few people who I knew, clients that were, you know, rich bankers, plenty of money to invest, everything like that. And I got some like people like, oh yeah, but maybe make a business plan, show me. Then, so I wasn't even, then I had another client, lovely guy. He trained with me 3 times a week. But I never thought he needed the training because he wasn't that well. He wanted to, you know, improve his health and life. And I knew he wasn't from a particularly, you know, rich part of London. I knew he was working week to week paid. You know, it wasn't a luxury service, it was a necessity service for him. He was making sacrifices to do the training. And I was speaking to him, and I mentioned something about the gym, not directly like, "Oh, I need an investor." And it came across, and he said, "Well, you know, if you ever wanted to open a gym, I'd put sort of like 100 odd K in. That's no problem." And this was a huge shock because, as I say, you never know who you're talking to, right? You
Right.
never know what opportunities out there. And this is where, unless you are out there, like unless you put content out or unless you're speaking to people, joint ventures, unless you're constantly trying, you're never going to get anywhere. So anyway, the gym ended up, we couldn't find the perfect location. It was all too expensive. But again, this new venture, where I'm going to open a health food kitchen. So like Pret a Manger, Eat, you know, Itsu in London. You walk in, you know, it's all very fast food. The food's there. You get it, you're out the shop within a minute, but it's health food format.
Mate, that sounds amazing. I need to move down to London just to be around that place.
Yeah, so you can get, you know, hot food. You pick your protein, you know, chicken breast, tuna steak, salmon, you know, turkey patty. You pick your carbs if you're on carbs. You pick your vegetables, or if you're not on carbs, you have 2 vegetables. And there's also stuff like salad wraps, but, you know, not a mix of good and bad. It's all healthy. So if you walk in the store. So again, this idea was born from giving a client a diet, saying eat, you know, 3 big meals of protein, ideally 2 protein snacks. And he was like, "Hey, look, mate, I'm in meetings from, you know, 7 a.m. till I've got to run out of the office and get something. I can't find protein." I was like, "Well, can you not make your own food?" He's like, "I'll get home at, you know, 11 minimum every night. You know, I'm a busy man." So I said, "We know what the city needs is a health food restaurant, you know, where we can do, you know, people can go in, get the high protein foods, because it's hard to find, right?"
Yeah, definitely.
So then he came back one day. He was like, "You know what you're saying about that restaurant? Why don't you do it?" And I was like, "Well, first of all, I know nothing about restaurants. You know, I haven't got the money to invest in that and stuff like that." He's like, "Well, why don't you do it, sort of make sort of a business plan?" And I was like, "Great." I went away that night, wrote down a load of list of ideas, because, you know, if you're passionate about something and if you've got knowledge on something, you can write, you know, huge amounts of content on something within 5 minutes. Made a business plan. He went away, looked at it. He was like, "This is good. Let's, you know, let's do this. Let's get it." And I was like, "Well," he's like, "Let's just do it. Let's find investors and we do it." And, you know, 6 months down the line, that idea was 6 months ago. 6 months down the line, you know, raised over £400,000, and, you know, the company's valued before even opening it, you know, over 1.7 million.
Fantastic.
Not that that's worth anything now unless you're successful, but still, you know, you've sold investment on a big number. And again, this comes down to backing yourself and speaking to people and not being scared of people, because as long as you can translate and, you know, speak people's language and are willing to learn, you shouldn't be scared of anyone. And it's only successful people will never put you down. It's only unsuccessful people that will pick holes in you, or unhappy people that will pick holes in you. You know, you'll never find a successful businessman saying, "Oh, this idea is shit." They'll either just say, "Here, look, I think, you know, you might need to think about it a bit more." It's the unsuccessful people, the unhappy people that will always pick holes in you. So, you know, never be scared of anyone. If, you know, a lot of the time it takes a hell of a lot of ideas to get it right. But as I say, unless we keep trying every day and working on small goals, that's the way to do it. You'll never get there without the small steps.
That's it. It's all about consistency.
100% consistency and never giving up. I mean, as I say, developed this whole business through one idea to the other, moving from, you know, design to tills to this to that, this. And it's one step at a time, and then suddenly you take all them steps, and then you've got this big product. But as I say, without consistency, you're just going to get nowhere. You know, we've had so many hurdles, and you know, we lost everything at one point and then back. Then, you know, unless you keep going without consistency and move forward, you'll never get anywhere. And that's sort of the biggest lesson.
I think this as well, when this all happens, and I know it will, because I just know from the way you're talking, the character that you're putting out there, that this is going to happen. This is going to be a huge thing, and you guys heard it here first, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's on the first announcement. We just got the lease, so it's
awesome.
It's close, yeah.
I reckon that people are going to look into you and say, "Wow, this guy had it easy. This guy's lucky, or whatever." They don't see what you've been through. I mean, they might hear about your background story with the whole injury, with the blood infection, etc. But it's just the little bits in between when it comes to building a business that most people don't see. And I think you touched on a really important point. When people are trying to strive for success or trying to strive for something they really want in a goal, you're going to have moments in your life where things just do not go the way you want them to, and you've just got to get back on track, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that. I mean, I was actually in Los Angeles doing the health food research a few weeks ago, right? We had agreed a lease on another property. We hadn't signed it. It was in solicitors' hands. So I woke up one morning in Los Angeles, having, you know, had a lovely 3 days. I was with a girlfriend, amazing time. Woke up 6 a.m., checked my emails, had a few missed calls and a few emails. So on this one morning, this was only a few weeks ago, we'd lost one of our investors for over £100,000 because his wife wasn't very well. We lost the property. The property we got outbid on at the last minute, even though we had heads of terms in negotiating the lease. So we should really have had that. We lost it to Pret at the last minute. Our chef, it was really hard to get on board, instrumental to the development of the product menu, said due to other commitments he had to stay outside London. So suddenly our business went from nearly being opened, agreeing the lease, having everything in place, to literally losing investment, everything. And that was only around 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
As I say, we're straight back on track. You know, we've got another chef, we've got the investment came straight back into the company because it's a great opportunity. And we've got another property what actually was nearly, you know, a lot cheaper than the other one we've got, and it's just over the road. You know, we could have in that time, you know, got so pissed off and downhearted, then, you know, you can lose faith in the idea, and it's about just dealing with it and getting up and, you know, saying, well, what can you do? You just got to move forward and put the right move forward. So again, it all comes back to just getting back on. You know, life's literally all about, you know, getting beat back down. And it's how you come back and react, and just take small steps for yourself. And I mean, when I say small, I mean just tiny steps. Just pick 3 things today that might, you know, even if you write them down, it's a big step, because eventually they'll come around and form pieces of a puzzle. You know, overwhelm's a massive thing. Just don't take too much on. Just do one thing at a time and really sort of try and build it up slowly.
That is inspiring. Dude, you've totally fired me up today, and I'm sure everybody else who is watching this is going to get fired up as well. How can people get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you or connect with you? Do you have any platforms, Facebook or anything like that you'd like to share with anybody out there?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Twitter's Bradley Hill Fitness. Facebook, you can probably find me Bradley Hill. You can see by my picture. Well, I'll put all the links. I'll give you the links to click on through. I'm going to start Periscope on Twitter, doing a few, you know, live sort of hangouts and really trying to help people out. Because, like you say, the consistency thing, motivation is also, you know, it's a depreciating asset where, you know, we've got to stay motivated every day. We've got to hear stuff where we want to go to every day. It's not good enough reading a book 6 months ago. You know, I have read some amazing books. I can't remember a thing out of them. it's staying in touch with people that, you know, drive me forward even little bits at a time. So I'm going to do a lot of Periscope, just try to help people, and, you know, whether that's fitness, diet, you know, business, moving forward. It's all about staying in the right circle. As you say, you know better than anyone, if you're around people that are positive and moving forward, you're going to move forward yourself. If you're the opposite, you're just going to end up, you know, unfit and drinking and miserable and complaining about your job. Stay in the right circles and stay positive. But yeah, as I say, I'll be doing Periscope. I'll try and post the links to all the videos, something like that.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So if anybody wants to connect with me, you can connect with me via fahadmaniar.com, teamfightingfit.com. My Facebook handle's facebook.com Fahad Maniar, and Twitter is also twitter.com/Fahad Maniar. I'm going to have to wrap up now. I'm going to have to go, but I'm so delighted that we had Bradley on the call today. If anybody has any questions for Bradley, just you know, put a comment down below. I'm sure he'll like to answer them, or I'll pose them to him. We're going to definitely get Bradley back on in the future at some point. I want an invitation to your opening night, Bradley. This place sounds amazing. If I lived in London, I'd probably be your best customer. The world needs healthy food. The world needs an outlet for healthy food, and I wish you every single success with that venture, mate.
Likewise, as I say, you're inspiring me every day, so it's really giving me a kick to go out and help other people. And as I said, that's what it's all about, helping others.
Awesome.
Like whoever said, the more people you help, you'll get what you want.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up now. Have a great day. Stay epic, stay awesome, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much. Bye.